No, man. We knew we were going to get to this point. Hey guys, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys another old school album review. Still continuing the Judas Priest discography, and today we're going to be looking into Turbo. Now, after 1984's Defenders of the Faith and Judas Priest's continued popularity, the band initially recorded what would be considered a double album entitled Twin Turbos. However, I guess their label didn't approve it at the time, and it was never released. Instead, I guess the more commercial half of the material was taken made into Priest's 1986 album Turbo. And overall, this is the band's 10th full-length album. And around this time, I guess around the mid-80s, glam metal sort of dominated the music scene or the metal scene. But it was also around the time where a lot of the thrash bands started to come out at the time, but it was mostly focused on the glam stuff, but thrash was starting to sort of begin there. But anyway, wanting to go along with the current, I guess, glam trend, Turbo was the first album by Priest to make use of guitar synthesizers, and its sound was also more commercial than ever. And the reason why the album will strongly remind you of sort of arena rock and metal. And although the tour of the album was successful and Priest gained some new fans, their overall this album was condemned by many fans and critiqued alike as a huge sellout. Now, I don't even know where to begin. There is so much that is wrong with this album. I don't even know where to start. Right, the synths are way overdone, which is an effect of ruining guitar sound instead of adding extra flavor. For example, I mean, it can be done well. For example, for Iron Maiden, pull it off excellently in the same year with Somewhere in Time, which also came out the same year Turbo did, 1986. But however, Judas Priest messed it up utterly, and it's just all over it, where it's just completely overdone. The production isn't really that good either. The overall sound is way too polished, sounds very poppy, and Halford's vocals almost sound very distant. And Turbo's worst flaw ever is the over commercialism. The band went so far in this that they had troubles sounding like themselves. Just think of when we talked about Point of Entry, but then this is far worse. All the songs build up by very simple verse chorus structure, having an average solo in between. The structure could have worked, of course, as done by Priest before, but many of the lyrics and choruses are just so awful and generic, it's almost unbearable to listen to them. Just take a look at the song titles, you'll know that this is a Priest album, and this is just impossible to take seriously, never mind to enjoy. I still can't believe we're just talking about this album. But yeah, let's just dive into this track by track. Now, this has 9 songs total. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. The first song in the album we're going to talk about is the song Turbo Lover. Now, honestly, this is one of the songs that actually comes close to enjoyable. It has the very well done synth work, but then again has also average lyrics and is very repetitive. But it can't help it, their one part is very catchy, is I'm your turbo lover. I mean, you just can't help, some of them are just badly catchy, but anyway, moving on. Next song, Locked In, has the most potentially interesting instrumental work, but is unfortunately ruined by the overdone synths. Private Property, Garbage, Parental Guidance, which comes maddeningly close to standout material, but is marred by lyrics that would become bad from a 16-year-old, as if a 16-year-old had wrote this, let alone an established band of grown men. Rock You All Around the World is much more of a straightforward heavy metal blast. It's fast-paced, at times reminiscent of AC/DC's speedier your tracks, and I will admit this is actually one of the better songs on here. I actually like this song. Out in the Cold, which could have been written by any given bunch of semi-talented strip hacks that would just sound just gratingly cheesy. See, when added to the increase in single entendre sexual lyrics that from the not yet outed Rob Halford, this lacks of inspiration sends the album to a spiraling tailspin for which it never really recovers. uh, Wild Nights and Hot and Crazy Days. It pretty much sounds like an AC/DC ripoff, especially like the way the chorus is presented, and almost Rob sounds like half like Brian Johnson at times. Hot for Love, garbage. Didn't really care for that one. And we get to the last song on the album, which is Reckless. And if you had high hopes for a nice closer, forget it. Reckless is the song we've heard like 8 times before on this album that does no effort on closing off things in a high note. Now, overall, Turbo by Judas Priest is considered to be the worst Judas Priest album by a lot of metal fans, Priest fans, or like music critics alike. And I can deservedly see why. I like just overused synths, way too commercial sounding. And the lyrics are cheesy. It's just simple. It's stupid. Like musically, it sounds very simplistic of like verse chorus structure. Yeah, if I were to give this album a score, I'm gonna give Turbo by Judas Priest a 3.5 out of 10. And I mean, there's like only like 2 or 3 good songs, but overall, it's just a complete mess up. But yeah, that's my review of Turbo, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.